بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء نحوا سنقرئك فلا تنسى
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Inshallah, today we are going to have lesson 14. Lesson 14, let's bring the slides. Okay, so we have okay, so we have lesson 14. We are done with we said we were going to discuss the conditions that makes the fasting valid. Condition that makes the fasting valid. That means if you fast, if it was not wajib upon you, and you fasted, then will your fast be valid or not? So there were conditions that makes it valid, and there are conditions that, and if these conditions were not met, then your fast can be invalid. So based on the conditions, your fast could be valid or invalid. Those conditions we did 2 sessions, and we said there are another conditions. There are conditions of obligation. When does the fast become obligated upon me? And those are the conditions of the obligation. That means if the child fasts, will his fast be valid or invalid? That was in the validity we discussed. Now, is it wajib on the child to fast? We said no, unless he reaches the age of puberty. So we said there are a few overlapping in the conditions of obligation and conditions of validity. So we did conditions of validity, and we said that there is an indication that Sayyid Sistani allows fasting in travel. So if you travel, then your fast can be valid under certain conditions. So that is because wajib, if you are present, it is wajib upon you. But if you travel, it is not wajib upon you. But will your fast be valid? There are certain areas where your fast will be valid. So that's called, we called it conditions of validity. So now we are going to take conditions of obligations. So conditions of obligation. So when we discuss the conditions of obligation, so we have certain conditions which are conditions of obligation. Condition number 1, bulugh, reaching the age of adolescence or age of puberty. Wal-aql, the intellect. Wal-hadar, to be resident in hometown. Wa-adamul ighma, consciousness. Ighma means knocking down, lack of consciousness. Adamul marad, being healthy. Wal-khulu min al-hayd wal-nifas, and being free from the period, the monthly period or the postnatal bleeding, like post-delivery. So now we have, these are the conditions of obligation. That means if a person is not baligh, fast is not wajib. But if he fasts, is this fast valid or not? We discussed that in our previous session. Intellect, if a crazy person fasts, will his fast be okay or not? We discussed this there. But is it wajib on him? No, it is not wajib on him. If a person who's traveling, will his fast be valid? We discussed there are times his fast is valid. There are times, no, his fast is not valid. But will the presence, so is it wajib on him? We say no, it is not wajib on him. If he's present, it is wajib on him. And then we have the adamul ighma. If somebody knocks down and regains consciousness, half of the day. So he fasts. Will his fast be valid or not? We said in the Sistani says obligatory precaution, he can fast, okay? Because he was not conscious when the time of intention, before the sunset, before the dawn, there was no consciousness. So there was no wujub. But then he fasts. Then will his fast be valid or not? We discussed that. But is it wajib on a person who is not in conscience to fast? No, it is not wajib on a person. Hayd wa nifas, obviously hayd wa nifas, she can't fast. So the conditions of validity and the conditions of obligation are same. So a pure lady who has been purified from her period, she can then do the ghusl and fast for the next day. If in the middle of the day she becomes pure, no, she cannot fast because half of the day has gone or some of the day has gone. Ruling number 1037. لو صام الصبي تطوعا وبلغ في الأثناء قبل الزوال لم يجب عليه الإتمام وإن كان هو لحظة استحباب. So we said it is the conditions of obligation is reaching the age of adolescence, age of puberty. So if a child fasts voluntarily, and let's say he was fasting voluntarily and he got this hyperbolic epiphany, something like that spiritual experience, and whoops, he became baligh. Or a girl, she knew that what time she was born exactly on microsecond or like anyhow the hour she was born. So she completed her 9th year and she entered her 10th year. So once a girl completes 9 full years and she enters the 10th year, then she becomes baligh. So she knew when was her date of birth. So she, in the middle of the day, before the وَلَوْ قَبْلَ الزَّوَالِ بَلَغَ فِي الْأَثْنَاءِ وَلَوْ قَبْلَ الزَّوَالِ, even if before the dhuhr time she becomes baligh, we will say no, you don't have to complete the fast, okay? لَمْ يَجِبْ عَلَيْهِ الْإِتْمَامِ, even though it is recommended precaution to complete the fast. So she was fasting a voluntary fast, a mustahab fast. But what happened that noon time or before noon time or after noon time, she became baligh. So once she becomes baligh, does she have to complete the day? We will say it is not obligatory on her to complete the day. It is recommended precaution. Let's say if a crazy person gained awareness. This guy he lost his mind. He was didn't have his mind, and he was like, so what happened? Insane. So لو أفاق المجنون أو المغمي عليه أثناء النهار وكان مسبوقا بالنية. Let's say he had the intention, and before the Fajr he became crazy or he lost his consciousness. So what should we do here? We say if there was intention before, then we will tell them to complete their fast on the basis of obligatory precaution. But if they had not made their intention before, then they will have to do qada. So there is a difference between a child when it reaches the age of puberty, okay? There's no obligation for him to continue the fast. He was fasting, recommended fasting. But what about a crazy person or insane person or somebody who has lost his consciousness? When this person, if there was intention before the dawn, then that person will continue his fast. If he regains his consciousness or he regains the sanity during the daytime. So he says, أو مغمي عليه أثناء النهار, if during the day they regain their consciousness or regain sanity, وكان مسبوقا بالنية, and then the intention was there made before they went into insanity or in unconsciousness. فَالْأَحْوَطْ لُزُومًا أَنْ يُتِمَّ صَوْمًا. On the basis of obligatory precaution, they need to complete their fast, which was volunteer, because they made the intention and they were knocked down. They made the intention at night, or they had the intention of the whole month of Ramadan, but before the dawn, they just got knocked down. Okay? وَإِنْ يَقْضِيَهُ إِنْ لَمْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ. So if he had not made an intention, let's say he was insane for 2-3 days, or let's say he was unconscious for 2-3 days. So for this day, he had not made an intention because he was knocked out. The intention had broken from him. So in that case, he needs to do this day qada. Okay, what about the exemption for traveling? So ruling number 1038. When is the traveling? I said in some cases the traveling makes you to fast. Some cases the traveling exempts you from fasting. Ruling number 1038. إذا سافر قبل الزوال جاز له الإفطار بل وجب على الأحوط لزوما إذا كان ناويا للسفر من الليل. And this is a very important ruling here. Okay, focus with this. The Ayatollah Sistani may be different than all the other Maraja in this ruling, because many people, they have a background that if you travel before Dhuhr, you complete your fast. No, if you travel before Dhuhr, you break your fast. If you travel after Dhuhr, you complete your fast. If you're coming in hometown before Dhuhr, we will say, did you eat anything in your trip? If he says no, then we say, continue, fast today. If he comes after Dhuhr, we will say, your fast is gone, coming back. So the criteria is going before Dhuhr or after Dhuhr, coming back before Dhuhr and after Dhuhr. I'll repeat this once more. Okay? If a person was traveling before Dhuhr, okay, if a person was traveling before Dhuhr, usually this is what we knew. Then you don't have to fast. But don't eat now in your hometown. Travel a kind of 5-6 kilometers away from the city limits and then break your fast or pray qasr. That's the hadd al-tarakhus. So that was previously. But if you travel after Dhuhr, then you have to complete your fast. If you travel before Dhuhr, you break your fast. That was what we knew. Coming back to hometown. If you come back to hometown after Dhuhr, no fast. If you come back to hometown before Dhuhr, so if you had eaten anything, no fast. If you had not eaten anything or any of the invalidators in your trip, then fast. So Ayatollah Sistani has different focus on this ruling, because it is many people, they're not aware about this, and not many people, many scholars, many shuyukh, I told them that they say, no, it seems that Ayatollah Sistani is different ruling from all the other Maraja. That means he allows fasting in travel. It's not wajib, but it is permissible. How? Let's see his words. إذا سافر قبل الزوال, if he travels before Dhuhr, جاز له الإفطار, it would be permissible for him to break the fast. What does that mean? Permissible, not obligatory. What we knew, it would be obligatory upon him to break the fast. But Ayatollah Sistani does not say obligatory. He uses the word jaza. It would be permissible for him to break the fast. That means it may be permissible for him to fast. So as when he says jaza, he's giving an option. Yes, however, if he had made his intention at night, that means before the dawn of that day, so he had made it, I'm traveling. In this case only, Ayatollah Sistani says, on the basis of obligatory precaution, even obligatory precaution, not a fatwa, then he has to break the fast. He has to break the fast. So this ruling number, the segment of traveling before Dhuhr, there are two sections. One is, if you did not make an intention in night, let's say you're fasting the day, people, they call you, oh, please, could you come? It's emergency. You left the phone, you drove your car, you travel. Here, you travel distance, and it was before Dhuhr. You had not planned your trip. It's a sudden trip. Suddenly it came into your mind. You had to go. You were called, or no, you're feeling not happy. You had to visit your wife or your children in another city somewhere. So it was a sudden trip. It came in your mind. In this case, in sudden trips, or when there was no intention, prior intention, in the night time, say these instances, it is permissible for you to continue your fast or break your fast, which most of the shiukhs, they are not aware of. Okay? Bal wajaba ala al-ahwat. More even, it will be on the basis of obligatory precaution upon him to break his fast. إِذَا كَانَ نَاوِيًا السَّفَرَ مِنَ اللَّيْلِ. If he had made his intention from night, that means before Fajr, because once Fajr starts, a new day starts. So night ends with Fajr. Okay, this is leaving the hometown. Now, what about after Dhuhr? We said after Dhuhr, this is the understood. If you travel after Dhuhr, you have to complete your fast. But look at the words of Ayatollah Sistan. وَإِن كَانَ السَّفَرُ بَعْدَهُ. That means بعد الزوال, بعد الظهر, after the Dhuhr. If the traveling was after the Dhuhr, جَازَ. Remember this word. It indicates permissibility and not obligation. جَازَ لَهُ إِتْمَامُ الصِّيَامِ. It would be permissible for him to complete his fast. What does that mean? It would be also permissible for him to break his fast. Okay? It would be permissible for him to complete or to break. So it would be permissible for him to complete his fast if he's traveling after Dhuhr. Bal wajaba, more even, it would be obligatory precaution on him to do if he had not made the intention to travel from the night. So if you had not made the intention to travel from the night, then you have to complete the fast on the basis of obligatory precaution. But if you had made the intention from night, then you have an option. So this is opposite of previous. The previous, if like going before Dhuhr, if you had made an intention from night, on the basis of obligatory precaution, fast. Here, if you had made an intention from night, okay, جاز له ولا سيما إذا لم يكن السفر ناويا من سفر من الليل. If you had not made an intention at night, then on the basis of obligatory precaution, you have to complete after you travel. So there, completion, there breaking the fast required intention from night. Here after Dhuhr, completing the fast requires intention from the night. So let's say after Dhuhr, suddenly it came up that you want to travel. They called you something suddenly. So you have an option to continue or to break. If you had not made your intention from night, then you have to complete the fast. It is a bit confusing. So focus with me again. I'll repeat once more, and it's very important to repeat this. So there is permissibility and there's obligatory precaution. Before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr. Let's take the permissibility in both, and then we'll take the obligatory precaution. If a person travels before Dhuhr, okay, then it is permissible for him to break the fast or to continue if he had not made intention from night. Okay, if he had not made the intention from night, he has to continue, he can continue, he can break. Let's look after Dhuhr, the permissibly good. So if a person had made an intention from night, here made an intention, there did not make an intention. Here, if a person had made an intention at night, then he has the permissibility to complete or to break the fast. So before Dhuhr, lack of intention at night gives you permissibility. After Dhuhr, making intention at night gives you the permissibility. Done? Before Dhuhr, lack of intention at night gives you permissibility. Fast, don't fast, it's up to you. After Dhuhr, making an intention at night gives you permissibility. Fast and don't fast. Up to you. Now we come to the obligatory precaution part. So before Dhuhr, if you had made an intention at night, obligatory precaution, break your fast in your trip. That is when, if before Dhuhr. Made intention, break fast. After Dhuhr, did not make intention, okay, fast. Did not make intention at night, fast. ولا سيما إذا لم يكن ناوي سفر من الليل أحوط وجوبا, you have to fast. So this intention is at night has certain role in the obligatory precaution. Other than that, the basic rule of Sayyid Sistani is permissibility. When you travel, you don't have to break your fast. You have an option to break or to continue. Unless if you had made an intention, that defines the obligatory precaution. And that is a very unique rule from Sayyid Sistani, Damahullah. What about if a person was coming back to hometown? وَإِذَا كَانَ مُسَافِرًا. So I've numbered them, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 and 4 is coming back to hometown. وَإِذَا كَانَ مُسَافِرًا. He was in his travel, he was in his trip, and he was coming back to hometown. وَلَمْ يَتَنَاوَلِ الْمُفْطِرِ. He did not have any invalidators in his trip. حَتَّى دَخَلَ بَلَدَهُ. Until he came to his hometown. أَوْ بَلَدًا نَوَى فِي الْإِقَامَةِ. Or a town he needs to stay more than 10 days. فَإِنْ كَانَ دُخُولُهُ قَبْلَ الزَّوَالِ. So if he's entering before Dhuhr and he did not have any invalidator in his trip, صَامَ يَوْمَهُ عَلَى الْأَحْوَطِ وُجُوبًا. On the basis of obligatory precaution, he needs to fast this day, وَيَجْتَزِئْ بِهِ, and it will be sufficient for him. He doesn't need to do qada. That is when? Before Dhuhr. Should I repeat? It's once more. Summary. If a person was out of his hometown, he came to his hometown before Dhuhr, or he came to a city he wants to stay more than 10 days before Dhuhr. So we will tell him, fast this day because you did not have any invalidator there in your trip. You did not have any breakfast in plane or whatever. So complete that day on the basis of obligatory precaution. Done before Dhuhr? Done. Easy. وَإِنْ كَانَ بَعْدَهُ. And if he comes to his hometown after the Dhuhr time, لَمْ يَجِبْ عَلَيْهِ صِيَامُهُ. It will not be obligatory on him to fast this day. وَلَوْ صَامَ يَجْتَزِي بِهِ عَلَى الْأَحْوَطِ لُزُومًا. Subhanallah. Again, a difference from all the other maraja. Majority of the maraja, they say no. In any case, you will not. So he said, it is not, if he comes after Dhuhr, it is not wajib on him to fast. But is it permissible for him to fast? Can he fast? He says, if he fasts, lam yajtazi. That means it's not wajib and it is not permissible on the basis of obligatory precaution. Some maraja, they say fatwa, but Sayyid Sistani leaves a room here, obligatory precaution. If some another a'lam says he can complete this fast of this day after the Dhuhr, then it would be permissible. But Sayyid Sistani says no, on the basis of obligatory precaution. If somebody comes after the Dhuhr to his hometown or to a place he wants to stay more than 10 days, the fasting is not wajib. Therefore, if he fasts that day on the basis of obligatory precaution, it will not be sufficient. Good? Good. Now we come back to the part where this is if he had not eaten anything in his trip. Now, let's say if he had eaten anything, he ate breakfast in the aeroplane or in his hometown or in the gas station. So now he enters a city which he needs to stay 10 days, more than 10 days, or it's his hometown. وَإِذَا تَنَاوَلَ الْمُفْطِرْ فِي سَفَرِهِ. If he broke his fast, he performed one of the invalidators in his trip. ثُمَّ دَخَلَ بَلَدَهُ. And after that he entered his city. Okay, obviously you won't fast because your day started with eating and drinking. بَلَدَهُ مَثَلًا استحب. So there will no fast. بَلَدَهُ مَثَلًا استحب له الإمساك إلى الغروب. It will be recommended for him to abstain from the invalidators until the sun sets. So what is the criteria? So ruling number 1039. The criteria for trip is to start your trip before Dhuhr and after Dhuhr. Similarly, when coming back. وَكَذَا فِي الرُّجُوعِ. Al-manat, the criteria, في الشروع في السفر, to initiate your safar, to start your traveling, is before Dhuhr or after Dhuhr. وَكَذَا فِي الرُّجُوعِ مِنْهُ. Similarly, in returning back to the hometown is the criteria Dhuhr. And what is the criteria? It is the city. So, وَكَذَا الرُّجُوعِ مِنْهُ. So, from your trip you come back. هُوَ الْبَلَدِ لَا حَدِّ التَّرَخُّصِ. So, leaving the city, not leaving the limits of permissibility. So, what is this limits of permissibility? City is your city, the border of the city. You start the idiometer and start counting your distance. But then there is a city and there's the distance, 22 kilometers. Okay, so 22 kilometers and your city limit. You start your idiometer from city limits. You have intention to go 22 kilometers, going and coming back, or going one way 44 kilometers. But there is a place after the city limits, about 4 or 5 kilometers after the city limits, which is called limit of permissibility, hadd al-tarakhus. So what happens here in this 5-6 kilometers away, where people of the city disappears, or you disappear from the people of the city? What happens here? You are allowed to break your fast here. But I have not reached 22 kilometers. Yes, you are allowed to break your fast in this limit of permissibility, because as long as your intention is intact, you are planning to continue, you can start offering your salat qasr here, you can start eating and drinking at limit of permissibility, even if you have not cut the distance yet, but you are allowed. So that is called, so he said, when you are coming back, when you are entering the city, not the limits of permissibility, what time you are entering the city, before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr, that will be your criteria of fasting or not fasting. When you're traveling, before Dhuhr, you are leaving the limits of the city, or after Dhuhr. So the city limits is the criteria, not the limit, not the 5-6 kilometers after. So when you're leaving, when you left the city limits, was it before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr? When you're coming back, when you entered the city limits, was it before Dhuhr, after Dhuhr? So that is the criteria. So yes, he says, نعم لا يجوز الإفطار للمسافر إلا بعد الوصول إلى حد الترخص. So therefore, many times, like people that are traveling, they say, today we have a travel, so let's bring breakfast. Let's bring pacha, keema, gamer, malai, roti, anda, manda, all the. Hello, what's happening here? Yeah, we are traveling today. Yes, but you can't eat in your hometown. If you eat in your hometown, there'll be a kafara, penalty. You have to pass the city limit and come to a place where it is called limit of permissibility, hadd al-tarakhus. that is where you can eat your anda, manda, breakfast, whatever you have intended, not in your hometown. So he said, it is not permissible for a person who is traveling to break his fast until he reaches the limit of permissibility. حد الترخص إلا بعد الوصول إلى حد الترخص فلو أفطرا قبله عالما بالحكم وجبت الكفارة. Therefore, if he breaks his fast before reaching the limits of permissibility, then the penalty will be obligated upon him. Okay, now what about traveling? Just like people, they say, I'm tired, I cannot fast, I have exams, I'm just going to break my fast because of I'll travel just because I can't continue. I can't fast and do my exam. I can't fast and do my job. I can't. So every day he would travel outside, at least weekdays when he's working, especially when in Sweden, Norway, when these places where the fasts are 22 hours of fasting. So they need a scapegoat out, and this ruling is their scapegoat. Okay. So what does this ruling says? Ruling number 1040. Can a person really travel to escape from fast? Yes. However, let me tell you one thing. There's so many rewards of fasting in the holy month of Ramadan. So there are some narrations which indicate that if a person tries to make up qada of the fast missed, one day fast missed in the holy month of Ramadan, he wants to get the reward of this one day. If he fasts his entire year just to get the reward of this day, he will not be able to get. The reward of fasting in the holy month of Ramadan is super duper. No fasting days will get you the reward. No qada will get you the reward. So make sure that if you are going to leave your fast, you'd better have a good reason. Otherwise, you'll be deprived from these great pleasures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and blessings and honors which a person gets by fasting inside the holy month of Ramadan. If there is a necessity, it's okay. You will get the reward, inshallah. Allah understands. But just for having fun, you see, just for like, oh, I don't feel fasting, go cut the distance. That's not a good thing, okay? So ruling number 1040. يجوز السفر في شهر رمضان. It is permissible to travel in the holy month of Ramadan. اختيارا, by choice, voluntarily. ولو فرارا من الصوم. Even if it was for escaping from the obligation of fasting. ولكنه مكروه. However, that is makruh, undesired act. Allah doesn't like it. Okay, you are running away from being guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there are situations you can travel. Like for example, illa, the karahat will not be there, except for Hajj and Umrah. Umrah we understood. That people, they do Umrah in the holy month of Ramadan, they do last 10 days of i'tikaf, so they travel, they might not get a flight which is after Dhuhr, they might not get a train, they might not get a bus after Dhuhr, so they are bound to the means of transportation. So, Umrah we understand. Who the heaven does Hajj in the holy month of Ramadan? Nobody does Hajj in the holy month of Ramadan. But Ayatollah Sistani says, unless if he travels for Hajj. Remember, travels for Hajj. So he is going to go Hajj. Hajj is in Dhul Hajj. He wants to travel from now, from the holy month of Ramadan. Okay? Is there a problem? He wants to spend 3 months there in Makkah. Okay? And Medina. So he wants to travel. So there's no problem. And for your information, once upon a time, where our ancestors, when they used to go Hajj on camels and on steamer, they used to call it steamer, the boats, the ships, okay? They used to go for Hajj on ships. It would take 3-4 months for them to arrive in Dhul Hajj. That is what Sayyidi Sistan is talking about. So you're planning to travel for Hajj on camel, then this is an application of that rule, okay? Especially if you are going to travel from Sweden, okay, on camel or donkey, I don't know. I mean, maybe you because nowadays people, they do arba'in walk from different parts of the world. They walk all the way. There are a few people, they have done it to Karbala. Let's say you want to do it for Hajj. Imam Hassan alayhi salam walked Hajj from his hometown in Medina. Okay, many times he was barefoot even. So you want to do Hajj from Sweden or from United States, it's difficult because we don't have land connection unless if you have to go to Alaska and ride a boat and come into Siberia and then come walking down. You will Hajj after 5 years. Anyhow, if you walk like that. So basically, yeah, so trip for Hajj. أو غزو في سبيل الله, like Battle of Badr, it was in the holy month of Ramadan, so they travel. أو مال يخاف تلفه, let's say you have some wealth, they are going to loot it, absurd it, you have a case, court in the holy month of Ramadan, you have to be there. So here you have to be there, you have to go there, therefore it is necessary for you to travel. So any trip which is necessary. أو إنسان يخاف هلاكه, or a person, he's threatened of death, you want to go there, you want to save him, you have his medicine, you have his money for medicine, you have his money for surgery, so you need to travel, so otherwise if you don't go he will die, he'll perish. So these are some case of necessities where traveling is not makruh. So traveling in general is permissible in the holy month of Ramadan to escape from the fast, but to escape from the fast is makruh. But due to the necessities, it is the karahat is not there. وَإِذَا كَانَ عَلَى الْمُكَلَّفِ صَوْمُ وَاجِبٍ مُعَيَّنٍ لَمْ يَجُزْ لَهُ السَّفَرُ. Let's say if you have wajib mu'ayyan, obligatory, specific time, obligatory fast, you cannot travel on that day unless if it was necessity. So صَوْمُ وَاجِبٍ لَمْ يَجُزْ لَهُ السَّفَرُ إِذَا كَانَ وَاجِبًا. But which type of specific time? Because previously, if you recall, we said that nadhar, fast, specific time, fast, nadhar is permissible in traveling. You can say, Lillahi alayhi, for example, I'm going to fast 15 Sha'ban. That 15 Sha'ban, you are in the haram of Imam Rida or haram of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. So you will have to fast in travel, nadhar. Okay, so nadhar, we had spoken that recommended fast, which becomes specific time obligated by nadhar, by making a vow. Even if in travel you can do that, voluntarily you can make another in travel. But this is not looking at that recommended fast. This is looking at like obligatory fast other than the recommended nadhar fast. Okay, بِإِيجَارٍ وَنَحْوَةٍ. Like somebody hired you. Somebody hired you, he told you that I need you to fast 3 days, 13, 14, 15 of Sha'ban. I'll give you this much money. So now you have to fast. You can't travel those days because now your time, you have a time-bounded, time-specified obligation, not the vow. The vow is permissible. The ijar, the hire. Okay? Let's say your wife, you want to get married, your wife said, I want mahar, that you are going to fast 13, 14, 15. So that is her mahar. So now you have to fast that 13, 14, 15. So you can't travel those days because that is become. So anything in compensation of a trade or transaction, you cannot travel on that day. And similarly, وَكَذَلِكَ الثَّالِث مِنْ أَيَّامِ الْاعْتِكَافِ. I'tikaf, we said, 2 days you can break the i'tikaf, but once you complete the second day, third day becomes wajib, third day becomes compulsory. So first day you slept in the masjid. The Sharia has given you option because you might feel enthusiastic, it's i'tikaf, spirituality, spiritualism, and once you start and you see it's very boring in the masjid. I can't use any dunyawi thing. I can't use cell phones. I can't use anything except you can use cell phone for akhirat purpose, but not for chatting or watching movies in i'tikaf in the masjid when you're dedicated your 3 days for masjid. No, it has to be all akhirat. It's boring. It's boring. So now you have a chance to abort. Okay, bail out. I'tikaf has not become obligatory. Second day you have this. I'tikaf has not become obligatory, but once the second day Maghrib happens, the third, now you are stuck. You have done 2 days, get the third day and finish it. Don't worry about it. No, but it was 2 days boring. It's too late. Now because in I'tikaf you have to fast. So now the third day you have to fast. That fast becomes obligatory. You cannot travel in that fast. Okay, because you were in I'tikaf 2 days, you're fasting, you're not traveling, but you had an option to leave the fast and travel. But now the third day, it becomes wajib to stay in the masjid, and it becomes wajib to fast the third day. Okay, so now this is i'tikaf. وَيَجُوزُ فِي مَا إِذَا كَانَ وَاجِبًا مِنْ نَذْرٍ. We mentioned before, and it is permissible to travel if the fasting was obligatory through a vow, nadhar, manta. Okay, that we explained before. But now the question comes, what about if I did not make a vow? I did not say lillahi alayya, it is upon me for Allah, for the sake of Allah. That is special statement of nadhar, vow. What if it was not nadhar, it was qasam? He said, Wallahi al-azim, by God. Wallahi al-azim, I'm going to fast the 13th of Rajab. 13th, Wallahi al-azim, and you wanted to travel. He said, we cannot, because we have a specific narration allowing the nadhar and does not include the yameen, the qasam, the oath, or the covenant, ahad. So this oath and covenant, we can, let's say you made a covenant, lillahi alayhi ahdun, ahdullahi alayhi, for example, I'm making a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'm going to fast 13, 14, 15. So on the basis of obligatory precaution, you cannot travel that day. You have to fast that day. Okay? If you made qasam, we can't, the ruling of vow or nadhar is not inclusive to ahad and covenant and oath, qasam. Sayyidi Sistani does not allow that inclusive. In that case, it says obligatory precaution, observe the precaution measures, which is to fast that day. Okay? Don't travel on that day. وَفِي إِلْحَاقِ الْيَمِينِ وَالْعَهْدِ بِهِ إِشْكَالٍ. And to apply the rule of nadhar. You are allowed to travel in nadhar, specific nadhar time, muayyan, you are allowed to travel. To apply that rule in the oath and in the covenant is problematic. فَلَا يُتْرَكُ مُرَاعَةُ الْإِحْتِيَاطِ فِي ذَلِكَ. Therefore, the obligatory precaution is not to travel. Last slide, and we'll be done for today. Ruling number 1041. Okay, so now those who are exempt from fasting, the travelers, can they pack their stomach with food? I mean, the word Sayyidi Sistani has used at tamalli, fill. Obviously, it doesn't mean like that. It means like you are to your satisfaction, saturation. Okay, it's not like you fill your stomach pack. The word is used like that. Yajuzu lil musafir. Ruling number 1041. It is permissible for a traveling person in the holy month of Ramadan, obviously. At-tamalli min at-ta'ami wash-sharab. To fill. That means to eat on a full capacity. Not to pack yourself in a way that you can't breathe. But Ayatollah Sistani says it's permissible. Yeah, but it's not that wajib for you to pack yourself. It is permissible, though it is recommended precaution to avoid. Okay, to consider that day as a fasting day. Though it's not a fasting day, but consider it like get the thawab of the reward of the fasting on that day in the holy month of Ramadan. So he says that yajuzu tamalli. It is permissible to eat and drink with saturation. Okay, to fill in like normally. من الطعام والشراب, from the food and the drink. وكذا الجماع في النهار. And also the same rule goes for the having sexual intercourse in the daytime. But it is makruh. All this food, drink, sex, it is makruh. It is undesired. Okay, during the day. So it is undesired. والأحوط استحبابا, and based on the recommended precaution, الترك, leave. ولا سيما في الجماع, especially the intercourse. Okay, leave especially the intercourse. It is highly recommended precaution that leave food and drink and sex, but sexual intercourse is a very emphasized recommendation to avoid. This was for today. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
صلي على محمد وآله